Lusso Italiano, Luxury Imports, sponsors Boxing Bros UK.
Hello, this is Boxing Bros UK. I am your host, Chris. This is my co-host, Andrew, the Boxing Brain. Today's topic is... Got a cough this week, I've got a bit of a cough. But today's topic is the two main fights on the Fury Usyk undercard. Moses Itauma versus Mkean and Boachuk versus Itauma Davis. So we'll start with the less exciting one, Boachuk. Well, it was quite exciting, to be fair.
We'll get through that one quick, guys, and we'll get on to Moses because the title's going to be about Moses. But we'll just quickly go over this one, and then we'll get into what you obviously want to hear. What we talk about Moses. So,
really, Boachuk, Itauma Davis, last minute replacement, took it on 2-3 weeks' notice because Majimov pulled out. Obviously, Itauma Davis is a kind of a ponderous fighter, isn't he? He hasn't got fast hands. He doesn't really let his combinations go. He's not got fast feet. He's quite limited. And Boachuk is a fucking beast with fast hands, hits hard, and he just broke him down, took him apart, and then threw the towel in the end, stopped the fight because he dropped him in the first round, didn't he? With a corker. And to be fair to Itauma Davis, he was doing well.
Second round, yeah.
Second round, yeah. He was counter-punching him. He was doing really well. And Boachuk weren't having it his own way. Itauma Davis was giving a good account of himself. Then boom! Out of nowhere, got knocked down. Then really, he was just trying to counter-punch. He kept trying to hold him. And Boachuk was so slippery and so good at getting out. He just wasn't allowing him to hold him. He'd go to grab him, and he'd be like, "Rah!" Push him off, and he just wasn't even strong enough to tie him up. But like Fury wasn't strong enough to tie up Usyk most of the time, to be fair. But and that's it really. And then he just got the towel thrown in. Anything to add?
Yeah, I mean, look, I feel a bit for Davis. I mean, he probably got some good paydays. I mean, he had, 2 days notice for Josh Kelly when Liam Smith pulled out last minute. I think he had the best part of 2 weeks for Boachuk. And to give a bit of context, because I know people are going to sort of slag Davis off. And look, he threw more punches in the first 2 rounds he did in the whole fight against Kelly. So I'll give him a bit of credit there.
For sure.
But, Boachuk, if people don't know, because he's not like a massive name, but he's a world-class operator at that weight, and he's a world-class fighter, and he's a good puncher. He's very busy, relentless, very, very difficult fighter to fight. And Itauma Davis, I think he got put down and hurt for the first time in his pro career, from what I gather.
Yeah.
And Boachuk, Chris, essentially just broke his will on the stall. Didn't want to come out, did he? Didn't want any more part of it. I don't think he needed to. Itauma Davis can come again. He's put his name out there. No shame for me. Like, fair play, he's earned some money. Fought 2 good fighters at short notice. But essentially, Chris, he had his will broke, didn't he, in that fight?
That's it. One more thing to add before we move on. Like, he has got a bit of talent, Itauma Davis. Like, what I'd like to see him do is have proper fights, have a full camp, get a Southern Area title, go the proper route. If you want to be a boxer, you can't just be like, yeah, I'll fight a big name because it's a big name on 2 days' notice when you're not ready. Like, if you want to take your boxing game serious, then have a full camp and fight at your level, learn things, have a proper career. All this, I'll take a fight on 2 days' notice because it's Josh Kelly. I'll fight Boachuk because he fought Virgil Ortiz, and hoping for the best and grabbing the money and running. You ain't going to have a good career. You're just going to end up like Dave Allen. Because that's what he did, fighting all these big names and losing.
Yeah. He did.
He fought like, that's not how to run a boxing career. And if you're desperate for money and you just want to be a journeyman, then fair enough. But I don't believe that. When you hear him speak, And I've heard things about him in the gyms as well. Like he really trains hard and he's always ready. So just take your boxing career serious. No more last minute jumping in with people. Have a full camp. Win a Southern Area title. Try and win an English title. Build yourself up. Have learning fights. Do all that. Have a proper career. That's all I have to say on Itauma Davis. And Boachuk, what a man. The world's his oyster, really. He can fight Josh Kelly. He can fight bloody Ortiz again. He can fight Madrimov, the winner of Madrimov, and whoever Madrimov is fighting on the February card. The winner of Ortiz, Madrimov.
Yeah.
He can fight that winner. Maybe he gets a rematch of Ortiz. Maybe he gets Madrimov. World's his oyster. I really like Boachuk. I really like him. I think he's an exciting fighter to watch.
Yeah.
Legendary.
Good to watch. Yeah. So on to the main man, the Medway boy, the Chatham boy from our neck. I don't know if we've said this enough, but he's from our town. Biggest potential superstar to come out of our towns. I live with a guy who's good friends of him, Josh Antonio Showcaser. Just chucking his name out there. He's done a bit of sparring with him. I'll say nothing on that because I like to think we're people of integrity on this media channel. But anyway, just to sort of put that out there again. So we're more excited because he's a local lad from our towns. Did you want to start, Chris, or where do you want to start with this one?
Well, to be fair, there's not much to talk about the fight.
Not much to analyse.
So what I will say is, this was supposed to be his step up. Yeah, we got this one right. Way inside 6 rounds, but I'm not going to lie, I didn't think he was going to do it in the first round. But it just goes to show you the levels. Yeah, the levels of Moses Itauma. That is like he's just so fast. He's so fast and he's so accurate and he's so clinical. He's like, do you know what it reminds me of? I remember David Hay in his prime. You know, where he can just switch you off with one punch, the haymaker. And it was so it was so fast, it was so elusive, and it all just looked like relaxed and natural. It wasn't like it was all relaxed and chilled like the style. It looked like he was just having fun in there, like, and everything was just come easy to him. And it just starts to be the first round. Woo!
Folded him up like a fucking chair, didn't he, Chris?
Yeah.
Do you know what, as well, just to add, I mean, you've got a bit more to say, but I just wanted to add this in there quickly. What are the shocking thing, and I wanted to get your take on this, because I always like your take as an S&C coach and a man of conditioning yourself. He come in at a career, he was about 17-10, something like that. When he had about 250 odd pounds, Moses, last night, still had the speed. I know he didn't get take many rounds, but the hand speed was still there. He wanted to have more power in his shots, I believe he was saying. But what do you make of that? Coming a lot heavier, about 10, 11 pounds heavier, didn't seem to make any difference, did it?
I think, no, he's young though, isn't he? Like,
yeah, 19 years old.
Youth plays a big part in your engine, you know? Like, when you're young, you like, everything's natural, strength, stamina. If you're looking after yourself, and then the better you take, the better you live the life, the longer it lasts until it don't. But I just think next for Moses, he needs a tough test, and he's going to have to get put with because of how good he is. Like, I think that I think he should fight Wardley, but they're in the same gym with the same promoter. That fight is not happening. I guarantee it. So you've got to be realistic. You've got Hooney over in Australia. You know, he's a good prospect on the same kind of trajectory. I don't even think of anyone else really. Any names?
I've got an idea. I've got a kind of a roadmap I'd like for him, but I'll come back in after you've kind of finished all your thoughts about.
I'm just thinking who we can fight next. Either Wardley. I don't want to see him fight Joe Joyce. Definitely not. Definitely not a Joe Joyce.
I've heard sparring stories, mate, and I don't want to see it. Just based off what I've heard, I don't want to see it.
Joe Joyce is like, his punch resistance gone. He'll get starched in 1 round, 2 rounds by Moses.
It'll be horrible to watch, Chris, to be honest, that matchup. I know people are calling for that. It'll be horrible to watch. It'll be getting lit up like a Christmas tree, Big Joe Joyce, mate.
I'm thinking maybe a Jared Anderson, but I don't like to see people fight. I don't want him to fight someone who's coming off a loss. I want him to fight someone who's on a good winning streak, who's doing well, and coming to win and give him some rounds. Yeah, that's who he needs to fight. He needs to fight, not a prospect.
Yeah, I see where you're going. I agree with you.
He needs to fight a contender, like someone like Fabio Wardley's level, maybe a little bit above, but not quite world level. He needs to fight. He's beyond British level now. He needs to fight someone like at British level or European or a little bit below world title level. But he can't be fighting. He needs to step up because we need to see if he can take a shot. What's his gas tank like? But yeah, go ahead. What's the roadmap like? I want to hear it because I can't, off the top of my head, I can't.
Yeah, so I've got a little just off the back of what you were saying. We'll kind of finish off with analysing what we saw in the fight. Well, I'll start there and then you'll come back in and give your. But not much to go off. Setting traps a little bit. Really kind of like jousting to the body when he looking and even feinting to the body, and then was just looking to throw that left hand right over the top. Yeah. And McKean was biting on the feints, dropping his guard straight up. What I was surprised at, I wonder whether the fear got, I like to look at the psychology of fighters all the time. I wonder whether the fear got to him a bit in there, where he was very aware of his power and hand speed straight away, because it's easy for us to say, and it's easy for him to come out and say, look, I've still got my own ambitions. But as soon as you then get a taste of that speed and power and clips you on the ear and you think, fucking hell, I don't know. He just looked like a man in there that thought, I don't really want a part of this. And he's an experienced guy, McKean, and he got absolutely. I wish I'd been a bit braver because I haven't liked what I've seen from Keane in the fight. He's really not done much outside of Hrgovic. I wish I'd been braver and said inside 2 or 3, but I just thought that would have been too soon. But I didn't expect 30 seconds. That's just crazy. So nothing really much more to analyse on that. I want to see his chin and heart checked. In terms of a road, this is where I'm at with it. And it's easy for me to say, and what he wants to do, he's got his ambitions. Forget the world title, forget that. It's big enough just to be an undisputed down the line. I'd like to see a bit more of a traditional route now and just step him up gradually as a massive prospect. Maybe go David Adelaide, if Adelaide fancies it. Stick the money on the table, make that happen, English title. Then I know it's going to be very hard to make, but maybe Wardley will vacate the British title, go for a British title. Maybe someone in and around the top 5 or 6, a Cabiel Zhang winner. I know that's a big step up, but we want to see him step up. So maybe that's the sort of roadmap I'll be looking at, building up to a world title in 3 or 4 years' time. But what do you think of that, Chris? Just that kind of idea for him.
I think that's a great idea, really, because the English title's been ordered. Adelaide and Moses Itauma have been ordered to fight for the English title. Take that fight. It's another learning fight, exciting fight. Yeah, he'll wipe Adelaide out though. He'll wipe him out for sure. Yeah. Adelaide's just he'll do it. But and then, like you say, a Cabayel, a Zhang, or even F.A. Ajagba if he loses to. It's all right to fight someone with a losing record if they've been fought at the high level, at high level,
Still in his prime, Ajagba. That's not a bad shout, Chris. Ajagba, right. And it's a winnable fight. Good matchmaking. Because Cabiel, that would be, I think Cabiel beat Zhang, but Cabiel would be a tough one, I think. Tougher anyway.
He's not going to want to fight Moses Itauma, and you'd have to see. The thing is, Frank Warren is going to have to buy him opponents. He's going to have to pay people handsomely Because who wants to get knocked out by a 19-year-old? Nobody. You know what I mean?
That's very true.
It is embarrassing. Like, they don't want to lose, especially if they're in their prime or they're just leaving their prime. But like someone like FA Jagba, that would be a good shout. Caballero, I would love it if he could make that fight. Definitely. After he fights Adelaide, we want to see him against someone, even Hughie Fury. But I don't think he'd fight him. Oh, you gone there.
Sorry, it's my Wi-Fi, Chris. I don't know if you want to pause it and I'll turn it off, or I'll do it for the next video from where you left off, mate.
So really, we want him to fight someone like a Caballero, a Hooney over in Australia. Yeah, Caballero, Hooney, maybe a Hrgovic if he finds where his bottle. Even do you know what would be a good fight? Jermaine Franklin.
Hrgovic.
You said, yeah.
Yes.
And Jermaine Franklin. You said it before.
Yes.
Because Jermaine Franklin, he makes you look bad. He's tough. Like you find it hard to knock him out, and he'll go the rounds with you. And he'll just spoil. Like, no one looks good against him. Dylan White looks shit against him. AJ looks shit against him. Like, he's not someone.
You know what? That's a massive. Yeah, that's a massive shout, Chris. I know I mentioned that before and I forgot. Because if he gets in, Franklin will, because it's one of those fights that can be made as well. Bring Franklin over to the shores. He's going to want to upset another big British fighter. Took White all the way. AJ, had him. He was having kittens in there, AJ, a little bit. Seemed to be. And I think if Itauma wipes the floor with Franklin, how good does that look in comparison? Do you know what I mean?
Exactly. I think
that's a good shout. And Franklin's also a younger. What is he? Late 20s, early 30s? I don't know how old Franklin is, but he's an active, decent.
And I think Franklin's on a little bit of a winning streak. I swear he's won a couple of his last fights recently, and he'll give, and I do believe he'll give Moses some rounds because he knows how to survive. Yeah, and he won't.
Yeah, he's a bit of an avoided heavyweight, Franklin. Yeah, and he's been a bit. They've done a bit of a dirty on him in the rankings, I think, as well. Like, bit unfortunate when you got people like some of these ones. You're like, I don't know, even Justice Hooney, people like that in there. You kind of think, Cassius Chaney with like people like that. You think, thinking, Michael Hunter's fought about twice in 10 years at least. Do you know what I mean? It's like,
but I think that's about it, really. Unless you got anything to add, like there's
nothing to add there. No, I think, look, wonderful talent, generational talent. Wonderful speed. Moves like a middleweight at heavyweight. Just want to see now some bigger tests, and the world's his oyster. So that's it for me on that one.
Boxing Bros UK. Like and sub.